Welcome to Sober.Coffee, a weekly coffee chat sharing experience, strength, and hope for anyone on the sober road to recovery. You can download Sober.Coffee weekly on all podcast platforms and check us out on Instagram at Sober.Coffee Podcast and on Twitter at Sober.Coffee Pod. To learn more about us and to help support these sessions, visit online at Sober.Coffee. Here are your hosts, two guys on their own path of recovery, Mike and Glenn. Let's join them at the coffee shop.
Hey, Glenn.
What's up, man? How you doing? Hey,
Good. I'm having name collision in my head today, but I'll be fine.
You having what?
Name collision. Never?
No.
There's two Brians in the room.
Oh.
So it's name collision.
No, I understand that. No, our church group, we got, what, 3 Johns, 3 Mikes?
3 Jims. 2 Jims.
4 Jims.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy,
right,
man.
Yeah.
And 1 Glenn.
And just 1 Glenn.
That's it, man.
With
How you
2
doing?
ends.
That's right. That's right. You know, we're stuck out there. In the world of TikTok. So we had just jumped on TikTok before the shutdown, and we were getting a massive following.
I know, we were getting like some peeps.
And now I can't even access the account. I'm kind of like...
Well, I thought they I don't know. By the time this airs,
well,
we'll
what
probably be back
happened was, you know, Glenn being very, reactive.
Yes.
As soon as they said that, as soon as it was taken out of the room, I took it off my app.
Oh, of course
I took it off my phone.
Oh.
Right? Like, check, done.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can't get it back on.
Oh, brother.
So
we're stuck.
We're stuck.
All right, but we still got our. Hey, let's do a quick.
Oh
quick
my gosh,
housekeeping.
you always do this.
I know,
stuff,
quick
and
housekeeping.
I forget all the.
So if they want to follow us on Instagram,
it's Sober.Coffee Podcast.
Okay, and Twitter,
same thing.
Okay,
Sober Coffee Pod.
Okay, they can find us on YouTube at Sober Coffee
Podcast. Right, we have 4.2 million listeners there.
Yeah, right. And on email, which is probably the most important,
podcast at Sober.Coffee.
Yeah, that's a good one. So anytime, anything you need, we do have a resource room online. Everything that we talk about on the show that's of significance, we pop in that resource room. So check that out.
Do you remember that? You know, we always think that nobody listens to us.
Right.
Do you remember that giveaway we did on the boiled owl coffee with Stevie G?
Yeah.
We had people light up our emails.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I guess people are listening.
Yeah.
We gave away free coffee.
So, hey, speaking of giveaway, we're going to give away some good vibes today. You
Let's
ready?
give away some vibes, man.
Some good vibes, man. Hey, Brian, welcome to the coffee shop.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
What's up, Brian? Look at that sexy radio voice.
I know, right? So, Brian, I've known from the rooms and invited him in because he's like my favorite thing. He's my favorite thing. He's a musician.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, he's all really into music. And I'm super excited because music does so much for me. I mean, music just really does so much for me. It always has. But now that I'm sober, it's exasperated. It does so much for me. I connect to it. Now, I can't sing. I can't play. I can do a pretty mean air guitar. Almost hitting the exact string chords.
Impressive.
Yeah, for Eric Clapton.
Might need to see that someday.
That's right.
You have the fingering down, that's for sure.
I know, right? I got it moving. So, but yeah, Brian's a musician and you're a music teacher, and
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so you do, like, you embrace music as a career and as a passion, and I just thought it'd be fun to talk about music and sobriety, and
all right,
how
so let me dive in real quick. So
all right,
first of all, he's got a really cool mug. It says "Not Today, Satan."
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
and that's from Elizabeth, who you've had on the show a few times.
So I love Elizabeth. So I have to ask. I'm a musician, or I grew up a musician. I played trumpet for 15 years.
Okay.
I loved it. So what do you play? And do you play in a band? Do you practice?
Yeah. So I mainly play piano or keyboards, and I play in a couple different bands.
Coldplay? Do you play in Coldplay?
No, I hate Coldplay. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry, Chris Martin. Not a fan. But I play in a jazz group called Mr. Lucky and his Jazz Orchestra of Tomorrow, and we play every second Thursday of the month at the Roxy in Lockport. And I also play in a Grateful Dead tribute band called Paul's Dead, and we have a show coming up March 1st in Woodstock that's a big benefit for someone in the family or someone who's in the band whose family is being affected by cancer. So it's a big benefit show that we have coming up. So those are the main two bands I play in, but I also sub in a lot of different bands if they ever need me. I do a lot of freelance playing. I do a lot of solo ensemble accompanying.
All piano.
All piano.
Awesome.
I accompany a church, so I play at probably 5 or 6 different churches that whenever they need me, I just go there and play.
How's the pay stub there?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good until the 1099 comes around.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome, man. All right, so super cool. So the one story I'll say about music, I'm right with Mike. Music to me in my life today, I mean, it's amazing to the point where I have actually committed this weekend, other than right this moment, I'm not going to wear any headphones this weekend because I get these really nice Bose, top of the line, but they're really soft, but I've got like cauliflower ears because I wear them all night long.
Stop, sure.
I wear them all night long. I wear them half the day. I wear them when I drive. I wear them when I do puzzles. I wear them when I work. And it's always music, right? But I'm going to go the rest of the weekend without headphones.
Okay.
Give
Now,
my ears a break.
I'm not.
Well, you have those big ass speakers in your
I
face.
got
in your
now.
office.
Here's the thing.
Oh, no.
Just real quick. So my inventory, not a player, but a consumer. I've got my Bose headsets that go. Let's start the day with those. Those go on when I go to bed. Those are on when I get out of bed. Then I go into my office, which has its own sound system. Then in between my office and my upstairs, I have a Bose surround sound portable, and then upstairs I have the Infinities that can get louder than my neighbor cares to hear.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That's sexy.
Yeah.
Impressive. So Brian, how long have you been sober?
I've been sober about 2.5 years. I stopped drinking alcohol in August of 22.
Wow.
And I stopped using all drugs in actually 2 days from now will be 2 years without using any drugs.
Wow, that's fantastic, man. Drug-free, alcohol-free, 2 years. Wow.
So can I impose on you what kind of drugs?
I was mainly using cannabis.
Okay.
That was my main thing. A lot of psychedelics, Molly,
So
etc.
when you say psychedelics, is it like LSD?
Yeah,
All right. I've never done that.
LSD and mushrooms usually.
Yeah.
Mushrooms, yeah. I've never done that.
Been there. I've been told.
I've been told. Yeah, that's how the story goes.
That's
I guess.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. All right, cool, man. So congratulations to two plus years.
Yeah,
two
thank you.
plus years.
That's fantastic, man. That means you've been around the calendar twice, a bunch of activities, and
Yeah.
so that's a really great step. So you go to AA.
yes. I go to AA. I mainly go to Mokina Fellowship,
Yep.
and I go to the 7 a.m. meetings, and I chair the Thursday 7 a.m. meeting as well.
That's what I did that for 4 years, 7 a.m. at Thursday.
Did you?
Yep.
No
Check
way.
that.
For
Nice.
3 or 4 years, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, loved it. Loved it, especially Thanksgiving. I loved it.
So what? The second band was that Paul's Dead?
It's called Paul's Dead,
Okay.
and it's a tribute to a friend of the band
Okay.
who died from an accidental fentanyl overdose.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
so he was addicted to heroin and fentanyl, and he unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, right before Christmas, and left behind a beautiful young daughter. And it's just tragic. So this is kind of like a tribute to him, and we spread awareness through Narcan training and overdose, and just being aware of how bad things can get and how good things can be. And it's mainly through the power of music that really brought us all together within this band. And it's an awesome feeling to just be able to play Grateful Dead music and do it with my friends. So it's the greatest feeling in the world.
I love how everything kind of merged together for this story. I mean, for Paul's legacy to be an Narcan training. And so let me first of all say, and I've said this before, I think even when Elizabeth and Jackie were on a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about fentanyl, and I believe it's a tragedy because I joked about doing LSD. I did a lot of it in the 70s, 80s, did a lot of drugs, but I kind of knew where my drugs were coming from, and I knew what was in my drugs. There was never a case of unsuspecting drugs. I pretty much knew what I was getting. That is not the case anymore. So
No.
all a kid wants today is a high, same as I wanted in the 70s and 80s.
They don't want the obituary.
and what they're getting is the obituary.
Yep.
That's right. And it is absolutely tragic. As an alcoholic, I know what's in the bottle of gin, it's sealed. I know what's in the bottle of whiskey, it's sealed. These kids are opening unsealed bottles. All they want is a high. I'm no different. They're no different than me, and I'm no different from them, but they're getting dead, and it's absolutely terrible. It breaks my heart. Is there a tester strip that you can test your medication? I mean, I know there's Narcan for, but I heard
After it's done.
Yeah, after it's done. But what about tester strips to test for fentanyl?
I think there is. I'm not too keen on the subject. I don't know too much about it, but I think there is that sort of thing.
Yeah, I got to figure that out because something needs to be done. It's terrible, terrible. So that's awesome. That's awesome. You do that, and I also know that Elizabeth, Jackie, and we've said a couple other names. They're frequent participants at your concerts.
Yes, that's for sure.
So I know I got the invite to go see Mr. Lucky the other night, and I was getting better from being sick again. But I'm glad to hear that Mr. Lucky plays often. But some of these events are sobriety events for other people, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's a really special feeling to just look out to the crowd and see like a group of sober people just having a good time. I mean, I had my friend Don out there Thursday night, and he brought his friend Larry and his girlfriend, and Don's wife Trish was there. So it was a nice sober table that we had going on for the concert.
Is that Don the funny guy?
Yeah, you know, Father Don with the glasses.
Yeah, so
Yep.
he's been on back in year one. I believe Don was on the podcast. So
Really?
Yeah.
There goes my memory.
Oh well, maybe you should have, paid attention during the 70s and 80s.
I should have done less drugs.
That's what I'm just suggesting. It's just a suggestion.
I was never a drug guy. In fact, the funniest story, I was in Rush. I was in this 45-day day hospital program. Right.
I thought you meant the band.
Yeah, me
No,
too.
yeah, and they pulled my pharmacy record. Right. I mean, I have a horrid relationship with alcohol, and Dr. Scheffner, the head dude, comes in. He goes, Glenn, I'm amazed. He goes, I have never seen this. He goes, you've gone through back surgeries, shoulder surgeries. You've had a lot of opioids. He said, you have taken every one of those pills as prescribed. He goes, I've never seen. He said, there's always crossover.
You didn't
right?
abuse him?
No, not. Well, I can't say it. There were some times I was supposed to take 2. I took 3. Right.
Okay.
But
because you were in pain.
yeah, I mean,
Not
it wasn't
because you like the feeling.
And he says, I don't understand that. I'm like, it's easy. They do nothing for me.
Yeah.
Booze does something for me.
Right. Wow.
I'm like, it's not hard, right?
Yeah.
Doc.
All
right, so 2 years plus, great. You're in Mokina. What kind of brought you in?
What brought me in?
If I can dig in a little bit to the
Sure.
experience.
What brought me into the rooms was a trip to the psychiatric ward, actually.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah, just one time.
You're a quick learner then.
I was a quick learner. I was like, never again do I want to go here. So I went to Silver Oaks. I had suicidal thoughts and tendencies, and I told my therapist that, which I realized was a mistake, but actually was the best thing for me.
That's exactly
It saved
right.
my life.
Might have been the best mistake
And she
you
was
made.
like, you need to go to the hospital right now.
Wow.
So I did, and I went there for 9 days, and I was 5 months off of alcohol by then.
Mm-hmm.
So I go there for 9 days, and I just can't wait to smoke weed when I get out of there, and I'm telling everybody, and the word gets out to my therapist because people are standing there listening to me, writing notes down, and they're like, oh, he can't wait to get out and do drugs. So I did that right when I got out, and she's like, that's just like killing somebody right when you get out of jail, right? I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
So, I smoked my last blunt that Thursday, and I, sobered up, and then I went to my first meeting, and it was a Thursday at 6 o'clock meeting, and I was nervous to go. I didn't want to go into AA, even though I was white-knuckling it for 5 months. I was like, no, I can do this on my own, and I was being a dry drunk. That was the biggest problem. I was having problems with my relationship at the time. I was having problems with my job. I just didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to do anything. And I had all these good things going for me, like all this gratitude going on. And I had to realize, there is a solution. There is a better way. And that was in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, because life kept happening for me after that fact. And I was like, if I didn't have the people of Alcoholics Anonymous, I wouldn't be here sober today. Like, there's no way I would have been able to last. But the people helped me out, and the rooms helped me out, and going to meetings and staying connected helped me so much.
Interesting.
So you're working the steps of AA.
Yes.
Have you worked all of them?
Yeah, I've worked all of them. Did it twice.
And you have a sponsor?
Yeah, I have a sponsor.
Awesome.
Yep.
And so have you started to sponsor anybody yet?
Yes, I do sponsor one person right now.
And do you work the steps along with them?
Yes, we're working the steps right now. We're working through step 4 right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I learned more about AA and the 12 steps working with people than I ever did going through it myself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a beauty. That's fantastic, man. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a real success story. And I've seen you at the rooms. I mean, I've seen you at the 7 a.m.s. I used to be more attending there. Now with transportation, I'm an Uber driver for my granddaughter for school.
Oh, I thought you graduated from AA.
No, sir. No diploma yet.
My sponsor pulled me. I actually called him and I said, dude, let's go to a meeting together. So he pulls me aside. He goes, hey, when was the last, this is like a Friday. When's the last meeting you went to? I'm like, Sunday. He goes, you're not going to enough. I'm like, dude, that's 2 in 1 week. He goes, I don't care. You're not going to enough.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah, good stuff, man. It's 7 a.m.s are strong, and I noticed that you invest a lot more even than I do in your sober community. And you guys do things. I think there's an event today.
There is an event today.
You don't do pickleball, do you?
I do pickleball when I can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He does
awesome.
pickleball.
When I can.
The P word.
Sometimes it's hard on Fridays if I have a gig or something like that. But yeah, I love going to pickleball, and it's a great time, and recommend it for anybody.
Yeah, and then
Except for me.
and then you open up your house on events, Labor Days, Memorial Days, 4th of July.
Oh, wait, you're the Brian that opens their house.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Mike's been at my house, and he was checking out my record players.
Yeah,
and everything
he's
like
got
that.
he's got an actual record player,
I got-
man.
awesome.
He
I got
can play
3.
the records backwards.
Backmasking.
Do you know the term backmasking?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm familiar.
Come on, Mikey.
oh man.
No, I just heard on a prior episode we were talking about backmasking. I said there's probably a lot of kids that don't know what that is. I said I was just listening to Led Zeppelin this week, like I think it was Stairway to Heaven backwards, and it's like very clear Satan messages.
Yep.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah, something about a tool shed or
Yeah, it was crazy.
I know what you're
man.
talking about.
Crazy.
So do you compose music?
I haven't written music in a very long time, but I have written music just for myself, for like guitar and piano. I've written pieces for band. I've done a lot of arranging because I used to be a band director for about 8 years. So I'm very familiar
like a
with
school
it.
band?
A
Or?
school band, yeah. So I went to school
What
from
grades?
5th and 6th grade.
Oh man, that's my
concert
grandson
band,
right.
Concert band,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's my grandson right now, and he loves it.
Yeah. So I went to school for music education. So I have a 4-year, bachelor's degree in music education. And I taught band, from 5th grade on to high school. I taught a lot of different grades over my time doing that. And I had enough of it. So now I just teach privately. So I teach mainly piano lessons, some guitar, things like that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That was me, man, playing trumpet in concert band.
Yeah.
I did a lot of trumpet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, again, it kind of similarities to AA. It's that community. I appreciate the fact that my grandson is plugged into a community of like-minded kids that are not messing around in the school lot after school. Instead, they're picking up their instrument. They're doing the work. They're doing the practice. They're involved. They're supporting each other. And collectively, they're growing. Right?
So you just hit a nail on the head. I think back, and I was in marching band, right? There is a community in marching band that is unique,
Sure.
right? I mean, I went through it. My stepson went through it, right? It is just a unique community, family, and you know what it reminds me of? AA.
Yeah.
It is AA is a unique
That's what I'm
community,
saying.
and Brian, I really liked how you said, "Hey, man, I went in that door. I was nervous to go in the door." You know, there's a lot of people, man, that don't go in the door because they're nervous or they don't know what it is or they don't know, And I can remember a guy, we're out on social media, think 5 years ago, he reached out from Philly, right? He's from like where I grew up in Philly. How unique or how odd is that? And he says, Glenn, I want to go to AA. I need to go to AA, but we have a small town. I go into that meeting, everybody's going to know me, and everybody's going to judge me for being an alcoholic. And I said, brother, I said, have you ever thought they're alcoholics too?
Right.
And they're trying to get help too. He's like, Glenn, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, I'll go. Today he's 4 years sober. He is like the chairman of the committee of that group, and he chairs meetings, and he's got sponsees, and his life has absolutely changed. And the brain, right, can give you a lot of trepidation when you're going that door for the first time.
Well, I mean, let me ask two quick questions of both of you. How old were you when you first heard of AA?
Brian, I'll let you go first.
So I think I was 29 or 30. I can't remember. I can't do the math.
When you first heard of AA.
Oh, when I first heard
of
it.
AA.
Oh, I thought you meant when you started it.
No.
Is probably like when I was a teenager, just from like, I think it was when I was a teenager because I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and a lot of my friends had parents who were alcoholics, and a lot of those parents met in AA. And they have lasting relationships and marriages to this day, which is a beautiful thing, and they're still sober for over 30 years, so it's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
So I grew up around it where I knew a lot of alcoholics who were staying sober, just from my friends' parents.
Okay. Glenn, what do you think?
So I grew up in a very Christian household. I've never seen my parents take a drink. Drinking had nothing to do with. And then I started working at 16. I started working in a restaurant where everybody drank, right? But I just didn't. I would say the first time it clicked for me, I'm sure I have heard about it in passing or seen it in movies or whatever. My first experience with it was I went to my, at the time, my sister-in-law's wedding, and her husband was an alcoholic and part of AA.
Okay.
And so that would have been 25 years ago. And he was an absolute whack job. I mean, they lived in a yurt in the woods in Vermont, and he, like, for their wedding, he wore it. First of all, it was dry. So, of course, Glenn is coordinating the
parking lot festivities.
Yep, the tailgate in the parking lot.
Sure.
Right, I had my cooler, and
you founded tailgating.
I fueled it. That's for sure. And he was like a whack job, and I remember I'm like, who has a dry wedding, like, right? And he was in like a deerskin shirt, like with his arms out, flying through the woods, and I'm like,
that's your picture of AA?
Yeah, I'm like, whack job.
All
man.
right, so mine was probably similar to yours, Glenn. I picked it up somewhere in my early 20s. I heard of it from someone, I don't remember in particular, but segueing into my second question, did you ever aspire to be part of AA? I mean, I didn't want to be part of whatever club I was making fun of. I remember making fun of, I'm Mike, I've got a problem. I remember doing that all the time, making fun of AA as an organization. And did you ever aspire to? So when you go back to Brian's, concern about going into a AA meeting.
I watched his nonverbal when he talked about it.
Yeah,
It was like he shook, right?
Sure. I struggled to get through that door the first time. I'm like, I don't want this that I joked about.
My first time was in 2003. I had a situation at the Masters, and I landed up in rehab. And I picked this rehab. I could have gone to Illinois Illinois rehab for free, but that wasn't good enough for me. I had to go to this posh Pacific Ocean penthouse over the Pacific Ocean in California, where I paid like $40,000 out of my pocket, which is a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of money back now.
And I remember being in a 6-day detox in this little hospital. It was part of the complex, and they came in one day and they said, "Okay, Glenn, you're ready for your first meeting." And I signed up for this place because they had beach yoga and they had running on the beach. And I'm not a runner. I'd never run before that, never run since, and I didn't run there. But it sounded good. They had a private chef, and they had like this view of the deck over the ocean with family meetings and counseling, and I'm like, okay, that's going to get me sober, right? So I'm in this detox. I'm feeling like crap. They walked me across the hall into an AA meeting,
Okay.
and I stood up and I left. I'm like, you guys scammed me. Nowhere on the website did it say anything about AA. This is whack job, and
So you had every amenity in the world, but they threw it off with one little event.
If they had AA on the website, I probably would have gone.
Isn't that crazy?
So that was my first one, and then they talked me going back in, and here I am today.
Oh, so, okay. Again, good segue. You went back, Brian. You made it through your first stop. Glenn, you went back to a second meeting. I went back to a second meeting. My first one was in rehab, but I was still in such a zone I just thought it was awkward, but I didn't say anything. But I went back on my own, and look at us now. I mean, because where do you think the fortitude or the decision to give it a try, to go back to that second meeting, Glenn, where did that come from?
They made me.
Okay.
Zero fortitude. They made me.
They made you. Okay.
Brian had the fortitude.
I mean, I had nothing to lose. I mean,
Okay.
I just got out of the hospital, and I was like, I need to try this and give it a chance. So I made it part of my weekly routine, and I would go to the 3:30 meetings at Mokina, and then go to IOP right after that down the street at Silver Oaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did IOP for
several weeks after
Okay.
I got out of the hospital. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I didn't do IOP. Glenn, your experience with IOP?
Did it all.
Yeah.
I literally did it all. I did it all. In fact, I was telling Jen the other night we were watching something that reminded me. There was some medical program. It was groundbreaking, and it was like a brain reset, TMZ or some crazy brain, and it was a center outside of D.C. It was like 3 months, and I had been accepted, and I was going to go there for 3 months to get a medical brain reset. I mean,
Wow.
I was beyond help.
Wow.
And all I had to do was surrender.
Yeah, right.
And so instead of going there, I landed up relapsing and going to my 4-month program. But, I mean, I tried everything. And the only thing that's worked for me is surrendering to the steps of AA and doing what people tell me to do, and, being around people like Brian and you.
So tell them what to. I was really bad at taking instruction or guidance from other people because I didn't like to be told what to do. But I quickly learned in AA that you had to follow these suggestions, because like you would to take the suggestion to put a parachute on before you jump out of a freaking plane, right? It's a suggestion. But I would highly encourage anyone to use that tool or technique if they're going to go plane hopping.
So I get the whole suggestion thing for me, and Brian, I'm sure you've heard that, and you probably use that with your sponsee. I get it. My sponsor had the genius of saying, Glenn, these aren't suggestions. I'm telling you to do this, and these are your directives. And if there were suggestions, I would have used my brain power to get my way out of it. Right? It's just how I am. But he said, no, you're going to do this. And my guy, Matt, in my 4-month program, you're going to do this. But that also coincided with my surrender. And my surrender was, I will
do whatever you tell me to do.
And they said, okay, buckle up, giddy up.
Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So what do you tell the guy, Brian, that is out there, maybe just coming out of a hospitalization, maybe can avoid a hospitalization? What do you tell them that you found on the other side of that door?
I mean, what I found on the other side of that door is just the ability and the willingness to love myself, which is something that I had a lot of struggle with that situation of just like, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to do anything. So it's mainly about just telling that person, like, there is a solution out there that's way better than any drug or alcohol or any substance can provide for you. And it gives you that closure of, there are other people out here who are going through the same things as you, and they can help you get better. And I think that's the main thing for me, is just kind of like planting that seed in that person of like, hey, I know you've been sober for a month or so on your own, but there's this fellowship down the street if you want to try it out. There's an open meeting on Sundays for breakfast. You could go there. You don't have to admit you're an alcoholic, but just go there and just see what it's like. Just giving those people that knowledge and planting that seed of like, hey, this thing is available for you. And the best part is it's free. They just ask for a donation. It's not like hundreds of dollars on therapy or...
It's a buck or two in the basket.
Yeah, it's a buck or two in the basket.
And what do they say? If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Keep coming back.
Keep coming back, yeah.
Yeah.
So, someone in the rooms of the 7 a.m. meetings will always say it's the best therapy on the planet.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. I think it really is, and it's helped me so much. And I see it help other people, too. I see the change in other people as they go through the program. And it's really fantastic to see how that works.
Well, it's fantastic to have seen it work in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been fun to watch you, and you're such an important member to the community because of all the things you do outside the meetings. Because the meeting's an hour a day. That leaves us with 23 hours a day. Some of us sleep a little, some sleep a lot, but you still got hours ahead of you, and you help pack some of that time by being available to other alcoholics to show that Alcoholics Anonymous and sobriety is much more than just abstinence from drugs or alcohol. It's this loving yourself and loving life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, the whole AA thing, man, it teaches you a new way to live that's so rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Best thing I've ever seen. So,
hey, this has been good. Come back again.
Great to see you, Brian.
Yeah.
All right,
thanks so
Brian.
much for having me.
Keep playing that piano.
Yeah, I will.
Appreciate
All
it,
right,
man.
brother. See you, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's coffee chat. To contact the show, email us at podcast@Sober.Coffee. If you need immediate help, the AA hotline is 800-839-1686. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. Remember, Mike and Glenn are sharing their own journey on the path to recovery. Any suggestions, medical or otherwise, are their own experiences and should not be viewed as professional advice. See you next week, and remember, there is a solution.
Stay safe in the city of Chicago.